What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jerome, and I'm here tonight with the review for The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 11, Episode 6, I believe, and the episode was titled Whining and Dining. So without further ado, we are going to start right into the video. Alright, so we're going to start this episode out with Cynthia. So Cynthia is at home. She got her baby daddy Leon there with her. Leon is there to spend time with Noelle before she goes off to Howard University. And, Cynthia's telling Leon about her love life with that dude, Mark. I think his name is Mike. I would say Mike or Mark. Whichever one it is, y'all know who I'm talking about. So, Leon is asking Cynthia what is Noelle planning to do as far as living arrangements when she goes to Howard. Because Leon feels like Noelle should stay in the dorms. And Cynthia's talking about how Noelle wants an apartment. And, Leon basically wants Noelle to have the college experience, which you don't necessarily have to have that full experience, because I didn't have that experience. When I was in college, I stayed at home with my mother. I didn't pay no bills. She did pretty much everything for me except for washing my clothes. I did that on my own. I cooked on my own. So, but I still managed to have a fun college experience because I did so much stuff. When there was stuff to do on campus, I participated in pretty much everything fun on campus. So, you can still live off campus and still have the college experience. Like I said, I had it, and, but I guess basically whatever works for Noelle. And then when Leon was talking about how when Noelle goes to college, she, don't take her car. I'm like, nigga, please. Like, I had to have my car. Like, because at first I did plan on going off to school, but my mom was kind of like Cynthia, a little bit overbearing and a little bit overprotective. So I ended up staying at home and going to the junior college in my hometown and to the university in my hometown. So, and I know certain schools, when you go to them, there were some schools that I did look at where they said that the freshmen coming in couldn't bring their cars. And I was like, you know what? That ain't the school for me, because there's no way in hell I'm gonna sit on this campus all day, go to class, and then go back to my dorm and not have a way around. So yeah, I opted out of going to the schools that did that. And I just, like I said, I applied for the ones that I really want to go to. Didn't get into them. Well, I did get accepted, but like I said, my mother was a little bit overprotective. So, I had to hear so much stuff about this and this and that. So I just didn't end up going, and I ended up staying at home. But I do not regret it one bit. I had an amazing college experience. I wish that I had went to an all-black HBCU, which there is one in my hometown, but it ain't where I want to go. So maybe I'll do an HBCU for my master's. So we're going to. All right. So next we see Leon, Cynthia, and Noelle. They go out for lunch, I believe they went out for. And I was looking at Cynthia like, Cynthia, how stupid can you be? You on here talking about underage drinking. You're on camera, which is just going to be televised live on television. And you're talking about, giving her a cocktail. Like, you do realize that is against the law, number one. And again, it's being filmed for television. Like, come on, Cynthia. I was with Leon. And I do get where Cynthia's coming from, because even when I was in college, I was 18 years old. I was 17 when I graduated high school. And when I got to college, I had just turned 18. My birthday is in July. So when school started that year, when I started my freshman year of college, I had already turned 18. And that whole summer, I did nothing but, go to the clubs in my hometown. So I definitely get it, because I had a friend, my friends and I, we were all underage, excuse me, but we had a friend that we all worked with, and she was 21 years old. So, we used to go to the club, we used to hang out with her, she used to buy us all kind of drinks and bring them to us, and we were drinking. So I definitely get where Cynthia's coming from. If, underage drinking, it does happen, but not to sit here on camera and talk about, giving your daughter a cocktail. Like, be smart, Cynthia. So then, Cynthia and Noelle and Leon, they're talking about what, Noelle wants to do as far as living arrangements. So she tells them how much the dorms cost. She said $5,000. I'm like, per semester? Like, shit, that's a lot of fucking money. Whoo, I'm so glad I did not live on campus. Like, I can't, and I don't know if that even includes a meal plan at that point. Like, God, that is a lot of fucking money. Jesus Christ. So they talk about that. And, she's also talking about how the apartment that she wants is the same amount as the dorm. I'm like, what kind of fucking apartment is that? Like, now, I know back in my hometown, the university that I went to, there are about 3 apartments that are around there, and they did cost about $2,000 to live there. But the difference between those and a regular apartment was the fact that you live with other people, and they tried to put you with people who had at least the same major as you, or so y'all would have at least have same classes together and stuff like that. And it was I don't know if it was all bills paid, but I know in the apartment, it was fully furnished. So it had a washer, dryer, you had your living room in there, you had your TV, you had your bedroom. It didn't have a full-size bed, but it had a bed in there. And you had cable in there. So it made sense, with all the stuff that they included, it did make sense. So I'm wondering if that's the case with the apartment that Noelle was talking about, that it's, all bills paid and, it comes fully furnished. So that could be the case. I'm not 100% positive, but I just thought $5,000 was a lot of money. Like, shit. But I know, like I said, with the school that I went to, they it also came out of your financial aid. So if you got financial aid and student loans, it would come out of that. So, maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but that just sounded like a whole hell of a lot of money. I also forgot to mention that Leon asked Noelle how she felt about leaving school, for school. She says she's nervous, which I didn't have the experience of leaving home for college, so I can't really say that I can understand what she's going through. On one end, I can understand what she's going through, because when I went to college, luckily enough for me, my junior college that I went to, all of my friends from high school, we all went there together. So I knew I still had my friends there. But when I went to the university that I went to, by the time I went to the university that I went to, because I went to my junior college for 2 years, and then I transferred to the school that I went to and graduated from. And by that point, most of my friends had dropped out of college. So when I went to the university that I went to, I was completely by myself. I had to make new friends, and it was nerve-wracking for me. So I definitely get where Noelle's coming from. It's nerve-wracking to be on your own and have to make new friends. So I definitely get that part. And I also got that part because when I finally did move away from home, God, it was so nerve-wracking. When I moved to Dallas, I know my family here, but most of my family members have kids and I don't. So when I got up here, I had to make new friends, and that was so nerve-wracking for me because I'm not that social, but I'm social to a point. So, I definitely get where Noelle's coming from. I actually do understand where Noelle's coming from. So we'll move on. All right, so next I'm going to move over to Shamari. First, before I even talk about Shamari, so I was looking at Shamari when she walked up there with Ronnie to the Uncle Julio's. So her makeup on her face is so light. It's really, really light. It makes her look like Casper the White Black Ghost. Like, her makeup is so fucking horrible. And then the outfits that she wear, like she stepped out of 2001. Like, shit, like 2001 just threw her up. So she and Ronnie are having a date with Candy and Todd. So Candy and Todd sit down with them, and Shamari, she asked Candy, how does she feel about Shamari telling the whole group about her open relationship with Ronnie. So then Todd talks about, how Candy opened up about them having a threesome once and how it just spiraled out. We're not even going to go into the whole Portia, Phaedra bullshit. We're just going to let that go. So basically, Candy said that, what did Candy say? I wrote that. Candy said she was cool with it, basically. And, then Shamari's talking once again about how this whole open relationship thing put a strain on her marriage with Ronnie. And the reason why it put a strain on her marriage with Ronnie is because Shamari developed feelings for the other woman, whereas Ronnie was out there just sticking his dick in bitches and not giving a fuck. That is a huge difference between Shamari and Ronnie. Ronnie got jealous. But you act, like I said, you out here willy-nilly putting your dick in women and just fucking them, no nothing. And your wife is having an emotional relationship with another woman. So it didn't work out for them, and they finally realized that they were enough for each other and blah, blah, blah. ugh, I like Shamari to an extent, but then sometimes she gets on my nerves with the stuff that she talks about. It's like, can we talk about something different? Because I don't want to continue to sit here and talk about this open relationship that she and Ronnie had. It's gonna get old and it's gonna get boring. Just like, and then while I'm talking about this, so because I actually forgot about this. So Shamari asked the question of, well, she said that she hadn't really saw any of the girls since Cynthia's Bailey Q. And then this segues for Kandi to once again talk about Portia. And I'm just like, Kandi, will you stop reporting live from another bitch's business? Like, it's frustrating, it's annoying. Like, why do you feel like why does you have to bring up Portia every time? Like, I just want you to sit down and tell Portia, hey bitch, I want to eat your pussy. Like, just say that. Like, because it's getting old at this point and I'm tired of hearing about it. We are episode 6. We have not heard anything about what Kandi is doing other than carrying the bone like Sheree. Like, are you going to be this season Sheree for real? Like, no, Kandi, I do not want to hear anything else about Kandi. I mean, not Kandi, but Portia and Dennis from you at all. Like, let it the fuck go. All right, so next I'm going to move over to Portia. So Portia is in her car. First of all, how many cars does Portia have? Because she's driving a Range Rover, but I think she had that, what was it, a Phantom or a Rolls Royce? I can't remember which other one it was. But she's in her car. She's on the phone talking to Lauren, and she's telling Lauren about the last time that she met with Kandi, with Cynthia, Nene, and was it Marlo? No, Cynthia, Nene, Kandi, and her. When Kandi was telling her about the whole shit with Dennis, getting other women's names tattooed on him, buying other women gifts. And, Portia's like, it's probably odd for Kandi because Kandi is used to buying gifts for her men. So I'm like, oh God, here we go. So we find out that Portia and Kandi are actually meeting up with each other. So, Portia gets there, she goes in and she sits with Kandi and, they start to talk. And, I actually was in agreement with what Portia said when she first sat down with her, which I kind of forgot. But basically, in a nutshell, I think she was saying that, Kandi wanted to find out the way that Portia found out. And the way Portia found out is, she went to 3 different women, told them, and then it came to Portia. Which, I agree with Portia. Like, the way Kandi did it, I know that they're not in a good place. And she could have at least, she could have called, when she called Portia and talked to Portia the first time, when she FaceTimed her, she could have said, you know what, Portia, at some point after this, I want to sit down with you. I want to have a little bit of a conversation with you. There's something that I've heard that I just want to sit down and tell you. I know we're not in the best place right now, but I just want you to hear it from me before you hear it from somebody else. And that's all she could have put it at, and then sat down with Portia like she's doing now. And then be like, Portia, you know what? I know who you dating. I've heard some stuff about him, how he, has other girls' names tattooed on him, how he buys other girls gifts. And then Portia would have been like, oh, girl, I ain't worried about that. You could have been like, okay, well, I just want to bring it to you and we can move on from that. But no, you went to Karma. You were talking to Jamie about it. You went to Nene, Marlo, and Cynthia. That's 5 different women that you went to before it even made it back to Portia. And you aren't the one that brought it back to Portia. Someone else brought it back to Portia. And I know people were talking last week about that it was Nene. Now, I rewatched that episode from last week. When they were sitting down at the table, Portia said that, she never said that. She didn't say that Nene told her. And in her interview that she did with production, the way I took it was the fact that she said, I think the way that I took, well, I know how I took it. The way that I took it was that Portia found out. She went to Nene because it had to be, it's between Cynthia, Marlo, and Nene. Because the way Portia was talking, it was like whoever said it, they all were sitting together. And she said it, 3 different women. It went to 3 women. So my thing is, I still believe Marlo said it, and she could have said, Cynthia was sitting there, and so was Nene. And then, Portia was like, oh, so Nene was there? Let me ask Nene what happened. Why come, if you knew that, why come she didn't tell me? And then Nene said what she said. And I'm not going to repeat what she said in her interview last week. But that shit was so stupid. Because, again, Portia doesn't give a fuck. Like, she still does not care. And they agreed to just let it go at this point. which I'm like, thank the Lord. Let's just put this shit behind us and move forward. All right, so then we have Dennis's birthday party. So we have Portia. She is having a chef cook food for Dennis. So then Dennis comes downstairs and, they sit down. Portia asks Dennis how did he feel about meeting everybody. He says, he liked everybody. Everybody was nice to him. And she asked him, did he speak to Candy and Ty? He said, yeah, I hugged Candy and I shook Ty's hand. And then, she was talking about how Candy don't typically let her people hug her, that she probably have a problem with whatever. And, then, she asked him, well, when I was sitting with Candy, it's almost as if Candy wanted to say more, but she didn't say it. So is there anything else that you want to tell me? And he said, well, basically, I have, everybody has a past, which is true. He's like, I know people that Candy's probably messed with in the past, and she knows people that I messed with. So, whoop-de-woo, I'm all in with you. So that was cool. We can move past that. Again, I never cared to begin with because I think everybody, and myself included, have said everyone has a past. Like, what does it mean that he got another woman's name tattooed on him? He could have got it removed. There's a lot of shit he could have got it removed. He could have had something else tattooed over it. Like, you don't know what he's done. So I don't know why Candy keeps harping on that. Like, let's let it go. So then, Portia starts to give Dennis his birthday gifts. So he opens one box first, and it's a pair of baby booties. And I'm sitting there looking like, bruh, are you that stupid to not realize she's trying to tell you she's pregnant? So then he opens up the other gift. It's a onesie. And again, he's still sitting there like, what's going on? And Portia basically just says, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, nigga, again, baby booties, onesie. She's a woman. She's giving it to you as a gift. That means she's pregnant. Dennis, they elevators don't reach the top floor. They elevators they elevators are, actually no, they elevators are right here. I think Dennis's elevators are just a little bit higher than Portia's. And I love Portia. So I'm just being funny and I'm being shady. But, they elevators are about right here. Whereas the top floor is right up here. There's Dennis's stop right here. Portia's is right here. So I'm gonna move on. All right, so lastly, we got Nene. And before I even get started with Nene, can somebody please take Nene's phone away from her? Delete her social media, because we know last week she got into it with Greg on social media. And then after last week's episode, she got into it with Portia. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, what the fuck is going on with Nene? Like, I know she's going through a lot right now, but damn, calm the fuck down. So now we're gonna move into the episode. So Nene is meeting up with her friend Tanya. She's going over to Tanya's house. Tanya has a beautiful house, and I can kind of see why Bravo did not pick Tanya for being a housewife this season, because from what I'm seeing, she's just a little bit boring. And she got a big ass forehead, by the way. Like, her forehead is huge as fuck. Instead of her having that wig that has the part right here, she should have just got a wig that got a bang in it just to cover up her big ass forehead. But, moving on from that. So Tanya asked Nene about the ladies. And, Nene's talking to Tanya about it. And we find out that Tanya has been with her guy for 7 years. They're not married. They've been engaged for 3 years. I'm like, wow, that's a long fucking time. So y'all been together for 7 years. And y'all have been engaged for 3 years. So technically y'all been together. That is a long ass time. You've been together for 7 years. And you've been engaged for 3 of those 7 years. And y'all still haven't made it down the aisle yet. I wonder who's stalling the wedding. Is it Tanya or is it him? But Tanya did say they have some businesses that they did and stuff. I'm like, but even still, you still shouldn't be able to make some time for a wedding. That just means one of y'all don't want to get married. Like, that's my only thing that I can think is one of y'all do not really want to get married. And my guess is it's him. Or it could be her. Who knows? Like, okay, whatever. So then Nene tells Tanya that Greg wants to host a couples party. And she wants her and her guy to come. And what else? Oh, so this couples party has a theme. Nene with these dumbass themes. Like last year's theme was the Bring Your Gay, Never Forget All White Party. I believe that was the name of it, where Kim and Kenya got into it. And then this year's theme is called Boobs and Bourbon. Okay, Nene, you and these dumbass themes. They're retarded and stupid. Like, just say we having a couples party. You don't have to name it or nothing like that. Just say we having a motherfucking couples party. Why does it have to have a theme? All right, so now we move over to the boobs minus the bourbon party. So Cynthia's there minus her boyfriend, and she didn't bring Leon with her because she felt like that would be too confusing, but she brought a rent-a-date, her quote friend Marcus. I'm like, okay, Cynthia, whatever. We got Candy and Todd there. We have Eva and Mike there. We have Shamari and Ronnie there. Who else was there? We had Tanya and her fiance there. And we had one of Nene's customers from Swag, Yvonne. I'm like, wait a minute. So you just inviting customers to your parties all willy-nilly? Like, whatever. And then we had Marlo and her benefactor / John there. And then Portia and Dennis show up late, might I add. So when Portia and Dennis get there, Portia speaks to everybody. And then we see Shamari getting her feelings because Portia didn't speak to her. I'm like, oh my God, Shamari. So you finna make a whole big deal out of this. Like, why? Like, I don't get it. Why is Shamari making a big deal out of it? But whatever. Todd, first of all, let me talk about Todd and Ronnie, how messy they were. They were messy as fuck talking about Marlo's date that she just found on the street 10 minutes before coming in there. I'm like, oh my God, they are so fucking messy. Okay, so then, Mike is telling Portia how he likes Dennis because Dennis supported him when he was running for mayor of Atlanta. And how how some of the small businesses were told not to support him, but Dennis supported him regardless. So big up to Dennis for that. That's a good thing. So then Nene goes around, Nene wants him to go around the room and tell how they met their spouse or significant other. So she talks about how she met Greg. It was a long ass story. Bravo edited, and they were being shady with their editing. But in a nutshell, because even Candy said it, Nene, just say y'all met in the strip club, and 6 months later y'all got married. Because she said Greg got her number, called her, left a voicemail talking about something about Big Daddy and XYZ. Then we get Shamari and Ronnie. I was like, can I pass on Shamari and Ronnie? Basically, in a nutshell, Shamari was in the club. Ronnie tried to grab her hand. He was there with Bobby Brown. They met the next morning. They fucked. XYZ, don't give a fuck. We know how Candy and Todd met. They met in that Africa trip, and Phaedra set them two up. Then we move over to Dennis and Portia. Dennis said that Portia, she dissed him 2 years before, but then she was at one of his clubs, and he said he's gonna get her, and he got her. Moving on from that. And Portia was shady as hell because she said, Marlo, you didn't tell us how you met your man. I'm like, Portia, you know how she met him. On her back, no offense. On her back, on the street corner, on Backpage, on Sugar Baby, Sugar Daddy. She met him somewhere where he was a benefactor or John, something like that. That shit was funny. So then Nene starts to talk about, the colleges, how Eva and the girl Yvonne went to Clark Atlanta, which is where I want to go for my master's. I'm really excited about going through this whole process and trying to get my master's. I'm so excited. So then Candy asked the question, did Yvonne and Eva know each other? Yvonne says yes. Eva says, no, this is my first time meeting her. Why does she say that? So then Yvonne says that, my friend, I forgot what she said, her friend name is Tiffany. And he was like, Tiffany who? And then she tells her last name. She said, oh, that's Tiffany. She's in my wedding. That's a good friend of mine. And Yvonne was like, yeah, that's my best friend. And then, Portia was kind of like everybody else, like, damn. So y'all share a friend in common, but y'all don't know each other? Okay. I mean, just because you share a friend in common with somebody does not always mean that you know the other person. You can know of them, or you could have just never really just hung out with them. And then it's also, Eva said That was 16 years ago. So of course she probably ain't gonna remember her. But then the girl gets in her feelings, and she says that now they have an issue, and he was like, so we have an issue? What issue do we have? This bitch gonna sit here and say the issue that she has with Eva is because when Eva came in there, she said it's nice to meet you. Eva says, well, I just don't remember meeting you, so it was nice to meet you. Like, are we getting bent out of shape because someone said nice to meet you? And then, this bitch gonna sit there and talk about how she was that bitch. I'm with Shamari. You must not have been that bitch because she don't remember you. I think even Candy said something like that. Well, you must not have been that memorable. And I agree. You must not have been that memorable. The only thing that is memorable about you is that pleather Fashion Nova yellow dress that you got on. That is the only memorable thing about you right about now. So then they calmed that down because Nene had a surprise for them, and they're going to go on a couples trip. So that was Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Love and Hip Hop New York and Vanderpump Rules.